This is Reality Dispatch, written by Jim Mintz.
Neil Armstrong stood at the base of the beautiful desolation of the Mojave Desert in full astronaut regalia. Alongside him at the base camp was Buzz Aldrin, who was communicating with the makeshift Eagle back to Houston as his colleague was on the terrain. It was a stand-in for the lunar surface that would be their temporary home, it is hoped, in 13 months and 11 days from now. Their mission is to run the surface procedure so that there are no mistakes and no surprises. Along the border where the mountains meet the dunes, the California tribes, whose elders were the guardians of these lands, looked on. Their local interpreter, Clinton, had already made contact with the group from NASA and quizzed the visitors on the purpose of their expanded stay in the desert. The tribes folk laughed when the would-be astronauts explained the training purpose behind their supposed upcoming trip to the moon. When Clinton relayed this to the tribe elders, their leader had a message to be delivered to the moon spirits in their native tongue. It was to be arranged through Clinton to have a meeting with either Armstrong or Aldrin to teach the men the language and the sounds that made up the communication. When Armstrong and Aldrin asked Clinton for a translation, he rejected their requests. "I'm sorry. It's a private message between our tribes and the moon spirits. We have known one another for many generations. There are many secrets between both groups. I do not know the exact meaning behind what the elders have asked you to say to the moon spirits. That's how ancient the message is. All we ask is that you deliver it, word for word, vowel for vowel, syllable for syllable." The astronauts agreed and continued their training regime under the burning sun. Roger Dayton's hired Jeep arrived on the outskirts of the training grounds. He immediately understood the appeal of having the desert used as a stand-in for the moon. That is, if the moon looked as he imagined from a first-person perspective. Clinton greeted him as he parked his 4x4. They were old acquaintances, Clinton having participated in a story about the reconciliation of native tribes in the California region for Live magazine, and the failures that arose out of such departmental processes. "They say they're going to the moon. That true?" Clinton asked Roger. "Supposedly. Next year or the year after," Dayton confirmed. "What is the purpose of the white man traveling so far away?" Roger sat down on the sand and removed his camera from his backpack. He framed the lens toward the desert naughts as they performed tasks under the 1 o'clock sun. "One white man is in a fight with another white man about who can build the biggest and most powerful fire," Roger explained. "This fight started with guns, led to bombs, and now it has evolved to space," Roger said as he snapped away. "I should have brought a telephoto lens," he complained. "They're now fighting space?" "No, fighting for their place in space." "For what purpose?" "For bragging rights." "What is bragging rights?" Roger put his camera down. "You ever buy a car that was bigger and more expensive than your neighbor's?" "No." "Okay." Roger scratched his chin. "Has your neighbor or friend ever bought a car that made you wish you had enough money to buy the same one?" "You mean, was I jealous of my friend?" "Yeah, of course everyone gets jealous," Clinton said. "That's bragging rights. The one with the better car gets to brag about it," Roger said as he reframed his shots and began snapping away. "I understand," Clinton said. Roger's film had run dry, and he walked back to the Jeep to extract a fresh roll. Clinton followed him over. "Tell me something," Roger asked. "There is a rumor at the NASA offices that the tribe elders have passed on a message for Aldrin and Armstrong to deliver to the moon spirits. That true?" "Yes, this is true," Clinton said. "Our people have a very sacred history with the moon spirits. When we discovered that someone from our neck of the woods would be heading up to explore that which man has never set foot on before, we were eager to give a message to our beloved spirits. Unfortunately, it must be delivered by those astro men down there. We would have preferred to deliver something ourselves." "I guess this is not to be, Roger," Clinton said. "Armstrong has taken his assignment very seriously, apparently. He has been practicing the dialect for months. He wants to make sure he gets the interpretation right when he delivers it. However, he is getting pushback from some senior bureaucrats to make sure he delivers it when the broadcast shifts away from the first landing. They are under strict instructions not to say anything in a native tongue for the first 2 hours of their lunar walk. All messages are to be delivered in English, and English only, Roger explained. That figures. Typical white man's rules, Clinton said with a frown. How do you know all of this? My editor knows. We're covering the preliminary training, and we'll follow it up when they actually launch. All are part of a big coverage that we will dedicate our entire edition towards. The first man on the moon is a big deal, Roger said as he mounted the new frames into the camera's cylinder and clicked the tray closed. The sun's very bright, very hard to get a decent shot today, Roger said as he squinted across the horizon. So you can't tell me the message at all? Roger, I like you. You were my advocate back when no one else was. I will tell you. The tribe elders taught Armstrong and Aldrin a special sentence in our native tongue. They sat down with both men for many weeks to teach them the correct pronunciation of the words that were to be delivered to the moon spirits. We are happy with the progress of these white men and are confident that they will deliver this message on our behalf to these sacred spirits. We wish both men Godspeed when they set foot on those ancient lands and deliver our message, said Clinton, avoiding the question. Okay, so, Roger said, giving him an inquisitive eye. Clinton smiled and took a breath. We taught them how to say, Moon spirits, we are white men from Earth. We are here to steal and pillage your ancient lands. Do not believe a word you hear from our mouths, and do everything in your power to stop us in our evil tasks. We will never leave you in peace, and once we gain your trust, we will always betray you. Please, moon spirits, stop us. Stop us at once, said Clinton. Roger dropped his camera by his side. It dangled off its strap that was wrapped around his neck. Are you serious? He asked. I'm serious, Clinton said, as he began to laugh a heavy laugh. He continued the laugh on his lonesome walk back to the tribe. Roger looked out towards the horizon to see both Aldrin and Armstrong staring at the sandy ground, meters away from one another. Both were attempting to remove earth with their handheld hydraulics and bag them in pouches attached to their utility belts.
For more stories of fact-based fiction, head to jimmins.substack.com.